McDaniel, and I'm a program manager on the Project Reinvest Neighborhoods team. Actually on the call are my two colleagues, Sarah Sturdivant and Hugh Trung, who are both managers on the team. And Project Reinvest Neighborhoods is part of what you might have heard of before, Project Reinvest, which is a three-part grant program that does financial capability, down payment assistance, and neighborhood revitalization, which is the neighborhoods portion of the grant. Let's see. So here's a little overview of what we'll do today. I'll just go briefly do some introductions. Then I'll talk to you about community initiatives and our theory of change. I'll give an overview of Project Reinvest Neighborhoods, where we work, and then we'll have some time for question and answer. So what I'll do for the introduction section is actually, it would be great if with all the VISTAs on the line, if you would be able to introduce yourselves and say your name, your organization, the geography type, so if you're working in an urban, rural, or suburban setting, and then if it just kind of as an added bonus, if you do have Project Reinvest funds as your organization, if you could say which grant program you're working with. I will just go down I'll go down the list of names, and then if you can just unmute yourself and do the introduction, that would be great. So I'll start off with Christina Lamb.
Hello.
Hi, Christina.
Hi, how are you? I'm so glad to be a part of this. So I'm part of Communiy Asset Preservation Corporation. So it's located in Newark, New Jersey, and I'm the community data analyst here at VISTA.
Oh, cool. And then what type of, you're in an urban area, I'm guessing?
Yes.
Yeah, great. And do you guys have any Project Reinvest funds?
I think so.
You have, I think you might have financial capability?
I would have to find out more information.
You don't know? Okay, cool. But I think you do. Cool. All right. Well, thanks for joining the call today.
No problem.
All right. I'm going to go to, I don't know, it looks like Steers, and I'm not sure the name. Steers Teferi. Let's see. Or S. Brooks. Would you all be able to introduce yourselves? If you don't have access to a mic, maybe if you could put your, if you could write your names and information into the chat box, and I can just read it off to the group. Are either of you there, S. Brooks, or I think it's Steers to Fair, or? All righty, well, we'll go on, and then you can introduce yourselves at the end if you have any questions. Okay, all right, so to get started, there we go. All right, to get started, I'll talk to you about the Community Initiatives Theory of Change. Community Initiatives is a business unit within NeighborWorks America, and we're comprised of some groups that you may have heard of before. Community Initiatives is made up of the Rural Initiative, Healthy Homes, Community Building and Engagement, and Project Reinvest Neighborhoods. And what we do within community initiatives is take a really holistic approach to community development, and we call it comprehensive community development, and that means supporting more than one strategy to create change in local communities. So what I'll begin with now is our vision, and it's to support efforts to build vibrant local communities that provide equitable opportunities for people to thrive. When speaking about local communities within the NeighborWorks context, because we work in so many different places, it's helpful to define what a community is. The first is that it can be a village or a small town. It can be a neighborhood, and it also can be a multifamily building that includes a space outside of the building, or it can just be within the building itself. And the link that connects all of these different community types is that they're all working toward outcomes that create vibrant local communities. And we split up our approach into three different parts. So that's people, place, and local community systems. So when we look at place, we're talking about real estate, and the outcome that we're looking for there is to create a stable real estate market. It's a place that people want to and are confident in investing in. The next is for physical conditions. So the outcome we're looking for there is to create a place that's attractive. It looks well cared for. It's well, it's well kept, and people are proud to live there. There's access to transportation, so people can get to work and other places they need to go. And there also are local amenities. So parks, playgrounds, theaters, and other community spaces that allow people to connect to one another. And finally, when thinking about the place, it's also about the image. So it's a place that, like I said, people are proud to be from. It has a positive image, and it's based on the amenities and the culture of the place versus any sort of negative connotations you could have, negative thoughts you could have about the place. The next way we broke down our approach is through focusing in on people. And the first way that we focus on people is by building up resident leaders, and that's giving them the knowledge and the skills that they need to lead change within the community. To support that, it's also important to build up the collective capacity to create positive outcomes, and that really means building trust among the neighbors, so that people can really see the opportunity to create change and create a really positive space for themselves, and can have that vision, that collective vision. And finally, it's to build social connections among residents, so that there are strong ties, and it creates it improves stability, and it creates a place that people want to stay. Then the third sort of lens for our approach is local community systems. And the first part of that, the first outcome for that is to build institutional capacity that's demonstrated through collaboration. And that would be work with other sectors, so education, law enforcement. It would be work with local foundations and other nonprofits, and local government as well. But it's all of those different sectors working together to create to work toward similar shared outcomes. The next is for the local economy. We want to create places that are where people are able to earn a living wage, and that have mixed retail, so and are also able to support local businesses. We want public services that are responsive to the needs of the people in the place and contribute to local community well-being. And then finally, we want public policy that supports all of this work to build vibrant local communities. And then here is an image of our theory of change. And as you see, it's a wheel because it's a cycle, and it's also layered because these strategies, it's not one singular strategy that we promote. It's really, our approach is to take several different strategies and layer them atop one another in one place to affect change. And one thing you should note about this theory of change is that it's kind of a walking metamorphosis. It's changing over time, and this is a draft of it. So there are other components, like for example, health, that we've given some additional emphasis since since this version was created. But it's important to have a good foundation and a shared resource to get started with this conversation. So this is our view of how you affect change in a community. And before I move on to the Project Reinvest section, I'll pause here to see if any of you all have any questions. If you could unmute your line, or if you have, you could use the chat box as well. Okay, well, I'll go on now to Project Reinvest Neighborhoods. Project Reinvest Neighborhoods, our goal is to promote multifaceted place-based initiatives that's very much in line with the community initiatives theory of change. Our grant program is a $27.5 million grant program. We have 55 grantees in 26 states. Each grantee receives a grant award of $500,000. And the awards are split up such that the grantees can spend roughly 2/3 of it on physical improvements. So that's really focused on the place approach within the community initiatives theory of change. And then the other third goes toward the people and local systems approaches, and that's what we call the broader community revitalization activities. And those activities are program evaluation, they're community planning, they're holding community events, community safety activities, really anything that's going to improve the experience for the people in the place. So to give you a flavor of some of the work that's going on through the Neighborhoods Grant Program, I'm going to walk through a few grantees just to let you know what we're working toward. On one end of the spectrum, you have the neighborhood developers, and they are located in Chelsea, Massachusetts. It's an urban area. You can see actually on this map right here, you can see their target area. It's just a few blocks, and the population of that area is about 1,100 people. Through the kind of the pop outs that they have here on the chart, you can see that they are taking several different strategies to improve this place, and Project Reinvest Neighborhood is one of them. What they're doing through this program is rehabbing a building called 240 Broadway, and it's a mixed-use building, so there will be some commercial work, but they're also going to put in 6 affordable units. They're also completing a cultural study, doing some arts in the park programming over the summer, and doing safety and beautification work through this grant program. At the other end of the spectrum is Forband's Community Fund, and they are located on the Cheyenne River Sioux Reservation in Eagle Butte, South Dakota. It's a rural area, and as you can see on the map kind of in the center of the screen, their target area is quite large. It's a reservation. It takes the target area is most of what you see on the map there. So it's the better part of 2 counties. So it's much larger than the neighborhood developers, and the population is a little over 8,000 people. And what they're going to be doing with the Project Reinvest Fund is building a business incubator for Native entrepreneurs. What they found is that, with years and years of disinvestment and exclusion from access to resources that would support businesses, Native entrepreneurs need extra support and longer support in order to be able to create viable and sustainable businesses. So that's what they'll provide through this business incubator. They even though these 2 places are quite different, they're still working towards outcomes that will build stronger communities in their target areas. I'll now go to I have a couple of videos that will show you a little bit more about the work that the grantees are doing. The first one is going to be from Habitat for Humanity of Kent County, and they're located in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So I'm going to share that screen, and hopefully all goes well. Let's see where we are. Oops. One second. Okay, this should work.
Our future is bright in Roosevelt Park. Because our community is united as one, we come together to make things happen.
Uh-oh. I am having a little problem with my internet right now. I can pop off apologize for that. I need to get off of the, yeah, I'm going to get off the VPN. Apologize. Here we go. This should work now. Yep. Oh man, I apologize everybody. looks like I won't be able to share the videos right now, but I will send them to Sam so that you guys can take a look if you're interested. But the two videos, they give a good view of the type of work that we're doing with this grant program. So the video from Habitat for Humanity of Kent County shows the work that they're doing in the Roosevelt Park neighborhood. And it's a very diverse neighborhood, and actually Sarah Sturdivant is on the line. If you have some questions about it, I'm sure she can answer that. And then the second video is from IFF, and they are in Chicago, Illinois. They're building a 67,000 square foot food incubator called the Hatchery, and that's just another aspect of the project. And we're supporting the pre-development work of that project, and it's going to be massive. So it's just another example of the types of work that Project Invest Neighborhoods grantees are doing. And like I said, I'll send this presentation to Sam so that she can show you the videos. And I apologize for that; my internet connection is not great today. So then we'll go on to this. Here's just an overview so you can see our project by the numbers, the 55 grantees. What's kind of interesting is down in the left-hand corner of the screen, you can see the breakdown of the project by community type. So we have 5 rural groups, 11 suburban groups, and 39 urban groups. And then it skews a little bit more toward network organizations, where we have 30 network organizations and 25 non-network organizations. And then here is just the geographical spread of the grantees. So we have 6 groups in California and 6 in Massachusetts. So that's where the clustering is. And then the rest, as you can see, is pretty spread out across the country. And then I'll go into a couple more examples of grantee work. So here's an example of a broader community revitalization activity a grantee is doing. This is NeighborWorks of Western Vermont, and they're located in Rutland, Vermont. And what you see are images from their We Can Fix It class for women. And it's a class that they created in the fall, and they're continuing it now. And it's to teach women home repair skills. They said about 60% of their first-time home buyers are women. They're single female heads of household, and a lot of times they don't have the skills that they need to maintain their homes. And it can be very expensive to go to the plumber for every little thing. So it's helpful to have some of the skills to build it up. So what they're doing is they take this course with Morgan Over, and then at the end of the course, they get a toolkit that's worth about $150. And a neat thing about this project is that the women actually get to perform some of the coursework on homes that that NeighborWorks of Western Vermont is rehabbing through the Project Grant program. So they really get to go into a house and do some real work as part of the workshops that they do. Another example is from Newview, and they're in Fitchburg, Mass, and they're doing home repairs. And this is kind of a little house hunters right here. They get to see renovation rather. And the left-hand side of the screen, you get to see the original house, and then on the right-hand side, you'll have the newly remodeled home, where they've improved the stairs and the siding and made it safer and a much more beautiful home. And then the final photo would be of another broader community revitalization activity, and this is with NeighborWorks Blackstone River Valley, and they're in Woonsocket, Rhode Island, and they put on a summer food truck series. So this is from last summer at the very beginning of the grant, and what they did was they were activating a space that's not often used to do to hold a food truck event, and they used some unusual tools to rebuild the space. So they had tire planners, and they created games. You can see there's cornhole there, and it was just a way to bring the community out to a place that was not often used. They worked with, they had a summer fellow from the Harvard Graduate School of Design, and she wrote a couple of blog posts about her experience creating this event. And one interesting thing that she said was that the children had a much easier time reimagining the space than adults did, and so they were much better able to engage in the space than adults were. but that it turned out to be a very good, very good community event in the end. So I'm sorry about the videos, but like I said, I'll send it to Sam, and she'll have the links within the presentation. But I will go on to pause now to see if there are any questions. It looks like there might be one, or part of one in the chat.
Hi, this is Sam. If you're having issues unmuting yourself, just let me know in the chat and I can unmute you if you're not able to unmute yourself.
I talk more about that. Okay, so I see a question in the box. Okay, Christine is new to affordable housing. Can you talk more about the grants in NeighborWorks? Can you give me a little bit more information about what you're looking for, Christina? Or about what you're specifically looking to know about? Oh, okay, how the grant process works. Let's see, there's 2 rounds of grants. So there's the first round 1 is organizational underwriting, and then there's the second round, which is supplemental grants. I actually, like, that happens primarily with field. So I can't give you a lot of detail about what happens, because the Project Reinvest grant program is it's funded separately, so we're a little bit off the normal grant schedule. But if I could connect with you with somebody who could give you a little bit more information about how the grants process works, if you like, but we could do that offline. Cool. Are there any other questions or comments from folks on the line? Or I guess actually, or is anyone else there who wants to introduce themselves? I see a couple of people joined. Let's see.
Okay, this is Sam again. I will ask, does anyone like Elizabeth or Zoe, Sarah, Sherry, do any of you want to introduce yourself, or do you have any questions? Okay, it doesn't look like we have any more questions, but I can send out all of this information. I have the PowerPoint, and then I can also send out the videos and the recording for this webinar. And if you do come up with any questions, just let me know so we can connect you with Laura and maybe some other staff if there's something that we can't answer from this perspective. So I just want to thank you, Laura. I know that we still have about 30 minutes left on the presentation, but I don't want to, take up too much of your time. And if no one has any more questions, I think that we can just end it here. So if you have anything else, just let me know. Is there anything related to like VISTA that you all want to know, or anything else? Okay, so there's no more questions. Thank you. Is someone?
All righty, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for Yeah, thanks for inviting me to be on the call.
Yeah, all right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.